In this video, we are going to go through a couple exciting updates. We have a new extract method called the scattered fill for our curve extract tool. Similar to our volume fill method, we can quickly scatter a bunch of curves within the volume of tube-like geometry. To show the differences, with the volume fill, we get this rings of curves that's placed layer by layer. When more layers are sampled, we will notice more curves are created in the center of the tube geometry. With the new scatter fill method, it will give us more even distribution of curves within the tube's volume. It's also faster than the volume fill method, roughly 2 to 3 times faster. Extracting 100 curves took less than half of a second on these tubes. With the new scatter extract method from geometries, a similar technique is also implemented to our curve fill tool. But before we go into that, you can see right away the tube tab now is simplified. Right now, all you need to do is select a bunch of curves and hit a create button. You will get your center curve. You no longer need to select the curve by orderly fashion. Just select everything and then hit create. Moving on the scatter, we can now just select a bunch of curves and scatter. It will take the form of all selected curves as an imaginary tube and fill it with the amount of curves we entered. This new method, also, is 2 to 3 times faster than the previous layer fill method. As long as we have at least 3 curves selected, we can scatter the volume within it. And if we want a center curve for each group of curves, we can just turn on Create from Groups. It will give you a center curve for each curve group. The Curve Snap tool now also has the retained root snapped curvature function from our Sculpt tool as well. This is to help retaining the curvatures towards the root. If we don't have it turn on, it will snap with the curve stretched. If we turn the retain snap curvature on, it will now keep the shapes more. Moving on to our interactive tools. The Sculpt tool is now way faster. When sculpting hundreds of curves, we used to get a heavy lag before. We all experience delays and chugs when adjusting the radius or moving curves. Now with this improvement, functionality is still the same, but it's just so much smoother to use this tool now. Doing a stress test on 528 curves. Although a rare case, but it can happen when we want to modify the big shapes of a hairstyle. Instead of relying on lattice deformer like some of us do, we can now finally use the Sculpt tool to help with that. When adjusting the brush radius, the radius circle and the strength fall-off display now gives a more immediate feedback. Sculpting with this amount of high-density CV curves are not recommended, but if we ever need to, it's now doable. Even with the speed boost on the Scalp Curve tool alone on curves, it will still be quite slow if you are trying to sculpt on strands made with the hair strand builders. This is because the deformers we use on these builders requires constant geometry updates when curves are moved. We can see it's still quite slow when there are more strands selected to sculpt. As a workaround for this, we made a few adjustments to the Sculpt tool and added a hide geometry while dragging checkbox. Turn that on, and now it will hide the geometries while sculpting, only update it when the drag is released. This will give us a faster feedback when adjusting bigger shape like this. Let's talk about a new function we have in the Sculpt tools, the lock root field. When we're doing sculpt towards the root, we can see the root will bend up and down like this. We now have an option to set the lock to a CV higher than 0. When we do that, the CVs before that number will not be affected by the sculpt anymore. What does the number mean? 0 is the default, the very root of the curve. The next CV is 1, 2, and then 3. Currently, I'm setting this to 3. Only the sections after CV3 will be moved. Let's try again. I cannot sculpt if I position the sculpt before the CV3. I can only scalp the curve section after that CV. Going back to our previous issue, we can set the lock root to 1, and this will prevent the root from bending around. We also add a new ability to the Add tool. It will now allow us to drag and continuously add curves without repeatedly clicking. grab our Add tool. Without doing anything to the settings, let's just click and drag. But you can see the curve is being added with the same interpolation, creating the same shapes on these new curves. This can be adjusted by the drag interval. Let's increase it. This will now give the tool more time to calculate before it drops the next curve. On the top of the scalp, our existing curves are longer, and as we go down, they become shorter. With the drag interval set, we can see our curves will now properly take in the surrounding curve's length and their shapes for the new curves. And if adding one curve at a time isn't enough, we can also turn on the scatter mode. The density slider determines how many curves will be created. Hold on Control and left mouse button to adjust the radius. Then just click on areas we wish to populate curves. With this ability, we will be able to quickly populate curves where needed. And, of course, we can drag and drop with the scatter mode as well. Both the drag cut and the move tool has a speed boost as well. With over 100 curves selected, we now get a way faster and smoother feedback. Thanks for watching. I hope you will find these updates useful in your grooming workflows.